My name is Shane Cass. In 2023, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in my lungs, colon, liver, and pelvis. It was devastating. But instead of giving up, I decided to take ownership of my health and explore an integrative approach. I adopted a strict nutritional plan combined with natural wellness strategies. One tool that became part of my daily routine was a device called X-Lung. It's designed to support lung function and oxygen intake. Since using it consistently, I noticed improvements in my breathing and energy. In November 2024, my scans showed encouraging signs, something I'm deeply grateful for. I'm not a doctor, I'm not offering medical advice. I'm just sharing my story, what I experienced, what helped me stay active, and what gave me hope. And if my journey encourages even one person facing a similar battle, then this is worth sharing. Join me on Vision 2025 this Thursday as I share more about my experience. Because sometimes resilience begins with the smallest breath forward.
Good morning, everybody. Great to be here. Another wonderful Thursday morning. It's freezing cold here in Pretoria. And today we're going to be listening to Shane Cass's story. He's got an incredible story to share. And we're going to be talking to him shortly. But I'd like to just ask the co-hosts who are here today to just introduce themselves. Glenn, please introduce yourself.
Great. Thanks, David. Once again, great to be on the show. Really brilliant to do this. And a good friend of mine, Shane, coming on board here. I know him well, and I know his product's absolutely brilliant. You're going to love the story today. Unfortunately, I'd booked another meeting prior to this, so I have to run literally within the next 10 minutes to the next meeting. I have already apologized to Shane. I will certainly be listening to it afterwards, the recording, and I'm sharing that with people. So looking forward to that. But yeah, as you can see, Glenn Jones, I do life and business coaching, I do counseling, mentoring, and but I like to call myself your personal locksmith, simply because I like to unlock the potential inside you and help you step into destiny. And that's me. Looking forward to this. Everything the best, Shane. Thank you, David.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you. Thank you, Glenn. Willem, please introduce yourself. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Yes, I'm Willem Lombard, a quality of life strategist. I help high-performing leaders and business owners go beyond just surviving with success on paper to actually living with energy, purpose, and fulfillment. Because what's the point of having money, a career, status, if your health, relationships, or peace of mind are falling apart? I help you identify what's draining your energy, rebuild what matters, and create a balanced life that actually feels good while still achieving your goals. I'm so much looking forward to hear your story today. Thank you.
Thank you, Willem. Thank you very much. Russell, please introduce yourself.
Good morning. Yeah, my name is Russell John Fagan. Like Glenn, I'm also in the space of business coaching, but I specialize in sales training, sales team development. I focus on the psychology of sales. It's something that you can't study in university, so I've got a 12-week masterclass where I do that. But I've got other interests as well. I'm a director on a board for CTAP, which is a Community Transformation Accelerator Program, where we'd help develop the local communities' economies through SME development. And then also, a business owner. I love small business. I love the passion of entrepreneurs. And I specifically love the young people's vision to grow this country. And that's where I like to get my hands dirty. So, yeah, Shane, looking forward to your presentation or your discussion. And, let's do this.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you. Great to have you all here. Thank you so much. So just a little bit about Vision 2025. We started this a year and a half ago. The idea was to actually give back to society from our expertise and our skill base. And that's why we're here today. We're here to actually share other people's stories, to learn from them so that we can actually think and do business smarter and be inspired and have an aspiration to actually do the same. So that's what we're here to do. And just how it's broken down, on the first Thursday of the month, we have a networking group. On the second Thursday, we interview a successful businessman who's taken it from nothing to something. Then on the third Thursday, we have Innovator Solutions, and this is what we're going to talk to Shane about today. And then the last one is Business Acumen. So that's when we actually get someone in the industry to come and talk to us. And we've got a very interesting person next week who's going to be talking to us. His name is Robert Werter, and he's going to be talking about diplomacy in business. Very interesting. So don't miss out on that. So let's go back to Shane. Shane, welcome to the show. It's really great to have you here. I'm going to ask Glenn maybe just to quickly do a quick intro of Shane and how he knows Shane. Glenn?
Thanks so much, David. I appreciate that, and certainly an honor. I met David last year. I think it was around September, October. It was actually at a networking function, and he asked me. We introduced each other, and he asked me what I did, and so I gave him a pitch, and I think that got things started. And I've been helping him and coaching him in terms of the business for the past couple of months. And I was just amazed at his products and the service that he gives, and just the uniqueness of the products as well. It's just something amazing, something really incredible. And I thought it would be really great to bring him on board. The main product you'll be discussing today, X-Lung, is just phenomenal. We have it ourselves. We've been using it ourselves. It's brilliant. I want to say to him, every person on the planet needs this product. So that's really great. Shane, go for it, man. We're rooting for you.
Thanks, Glenn.
Fantastic, Shane. So, Shane, you've got the floor, and please, go ahead. You've got 20 minutes to tell us all about your product and your journey. Your journey. Over to you.
All right, thank you, David. The company I run, well, I'm one of the directors, is Indigo Health and Sports Supplements. As Ben said, he's been helping us through some coaching ideas. Essentially, the company started as a health and sports supplement company. We produced some really good products, and through my interaction with the powerlifting and so forth, we came up with a great joint supplement on request from the WPC, the World Powerlifting Confederation. Somebody used the product on a horse, and it led us to then create an equine and a veterinary division. So that's what we've got within the company: equine and veterinary and health and sports supplements. 2023, I was going to gym as usual, got very tired, just wasn't feeling it. And I went to the doctor for a checkup, and he sent me for a colonoscopy. When I got the results, they said it's cancer, and the surgeon was very blunt. He said, cancer, colon, liver, lungs, pelvis. I'm not here to tell you Christmas stories. And it was a bit of a shock, I must be honest, but a better surgeon you couldn't wish to have met. So when I got that diagnosis, my partner said to me, let's go and see a doctor in Midrand. Before we do chemo, let's go and see this guy. Now, I must say from the outset, I'm not here to say to people, don't do chemo. Not at all. It's your personal choice. I saw this doctor in Midrand, and he put me onto what he called a metabolic protocol. It was a severe diet change, which was hard to do in the beginning. And then he put me onto things like ivermectin, fenbendazole, and some of our own products that Indigo manufacture. So that was 5 weeks before I had to go in for surgery. They removed a tumor from my colon the size of a tennis ball. And I said to that doctor, if you wake me up with a colostomy bag, don't wake me up. So I was lucky. He woke me up and he put his hand on my arm and he said, no bag, which was brilliant. But I continued through the metabolic protocol. I didn't want to do chemo. I decided, no, I'm not going to do it. But they insisted on putting a chemo port in my chest. I had one chemo session and it was awful. Really, it was unpleasant, to say the least. I went back to the oncologist and I said to him, not doing chemo. They said, wait, let's do a PET scan first. Now, bearing in mind, I'd been doing a metabolic protocol and a diet change, and I'd been using a product called X-Lung. There it is. That's it there. So after the first chemo, the oncologist said, let's do a PET scan before you make a decision. We did the PET scan, and he said to me, you've dodged the chemo. So I said, oh, what do you mean? He said, the tumors in your lungs are getting smaller. Your liver and your pelvis, the readings are very low. See me in 6 months' time. So I continued what I was doing. Had a second PET scan, and that was last year. That PET scan revealed that a piece of the chemo port, which was located here, had fractured, broken off and gone and got stuck in my heart. So that had to be removed. Then in the second PET scan, they said to me, the tumors in your lungs have got slightly bigger and they are cavitating. But there's no new tumor growth. Everything is stable. So when I saw bigger, I thought, oh, this is a problem. And when I asked the doctors, they said, no. What's happening is those tumors are filling with air and they are dying. Carry on as you are. I've never felt better. I promise you, I'm back in the gym, training harder than I have before. And I attribute that to the metabolic protocol that I'm on, the diet change, and X-Lung. There is no shadow of a doubt in my mind that this has benefited me tremendously. X-Lung was developed a couple of years ago and put through a clinical trial. That clinical trial included 150 people, of which the Springbok rugby team and the Sharks were participants of that trial. And when they did the trial, Dr. Craig Roberts was the Springbok doctor. He wrote the dissertation. And it was co-authored, so to speak, by Professor Andrew Bosch, who's head of medical science at UCT. Now, this device is scientifically proven to improve your peak performance output by 13.7%. Then what we found was, from a lung function point of view and a lung capacity point of view, myself, emphysema sufferers, asthma sufferers, people with COPD, the list just goes on and on and on. We've got so many good reviews from this. So that's essentially what X-Lung is about. And then a horse racing trainer said to me, if this works for a human, have you got one for a horse? Which led us to go back to the drawing board. And the first, what we're going to call an equilung, is being manufactured as we speak. We should have one ready for testing in the next 10 days. So that is a very condensed version of my story, a little bit about the company. So if there's any questions or people want to ask me anything, if there's anything else you would like me to say.
Fantastic, Shane. Yeah, let's just go through, let's ask Wilhelm. I'm sure Wilhelm's got some questions for you. Wilhelm, would you like to ask Shane a question about, his recovery and his products, as much?
Yes, thank you, David. The first question that I actually want to ask is, what did you do before the time that might cause this? It seems that you live a healthy lifestyle. Why did it happen? Was there something that you could have done to prevent this? Did you suffer a lot of stress or stressful life and so on? Or what might cause it, and what can one do to prevent the problem in the first place? Because that's always important for me as well, to prevent.
I don't actually know. The only thing is, I've never been a smoker, which was quite. When I went for the scan, they did a CT scan. They scanned my abdomen, and then they called me back and they said to me, "Have you ever been exposed to asbestos? Have you been a smoker?" And then I thought, that's not good. But no, I mean, it's not a smoking related thing. I've never been unhealthy. Look, I ate badly. I must be honest. I was powerlifting and bodybuilding, so I ate a lot of food to gain weight. But there's a big consensus in the marketplace that cancer is a mitochondria in your body that starts to malfunction. And like you said, now, stress, absolutely. I mean, running your own business is a very stressful operation. And I mean, when I was in Durban, we were running a business when 2008 came along. It created massive financial issues. So I would put it down to stress. And I mean, when the doctor removed that tumor, and he said it was the size of a tennis ball, I said to him, why didn't I feel sick if it was that big? And he said, well, that's just how it is. I mean, the only thing I felt was slightly tired. There was no other, I wasn't ill in any way, shape, or form. So I think stress is a big problem, definitely. And our diet, there's no doubt in my mind about that. I mean, since I've changed my diet and I eat fruit, vegetables, small amounts of meat, I drink black coffee and tea. That's it. I have zero sugar, no carbohydrates in the form of bread, pasta, sweets, nothing, no fizzy drinks, and I have no dairy. And I promise you, that alone has been a huge, huge difference. You feel it straight away. It's hard, believe me. I mean, I ate pizza and junk food, and I had a hell of a sweet tooth. So that was a big adjustment to make.
Okay, thank you very much. So far, so good. Is there any other questions, or then we can carry on with?
Yeah, no, I'm sure Russell has some questions. I saw him writing down.
Yes, I can see him.
Russell, please go ahead. Just unmute yourself, Russell.
Sorry. Shane, I actually said that I'm not a professional in anything that I'm about to mention. It's general knowledge. It's me diving into wanting to know more specifically about the body. I'm also married to a very, very interesting woman that is a trauma specialist. There's a book on the market that Dr. Gabor Mate wrote about the myth of normal, which is very enlightening to what we were talking about. Valelam's question is, how does this happen? So there's two sides I want to touch on. First of all, I want to touch on the fact that a lot of illnesses and so forth is based on childhood trauma. It's your body manifesting at a later stage in life. All of that unresolved tension, unresolved trauma that you're carrying around. So that is the one thing that is always good, is that when you do hit a health environment, and don't take my word for it, maybe read the book that I'm referring to, is that maybe to identify where there was trauma in the past and what that has influenced on. I'll use an example. In his book, he talks about the fact that I think it was about 87% of women that had breast cancer, specifically left breast cancer, had nurturing issues with their mothers. My sister was one of those. So it's just, it's one of the elements. The other element that I want to touch on before I ask my questions is I would like to know more about the X-lung, because I also was involved with business development with the guys that do the ozone machine, where increasing pure oxygen into your body actually helps with all of these type of illnesses. And I know of cancer being one of those, that when you subject any negative molecule or element within your body with good oxygen, then it does help with the recovery process. There's also Eastern philosophy or thought process related around breathing techniques for wellness, breathing techniques for healing. These are ancient practices that are still used in that process. I think we've just become so conditioned through medical science and what the medicals say about pharma that we've forgotten about the natural things. So there's multiple reasons why illnesses occur. Yes, stress is an element, and it does create or has a big impact. However, I think there's a lot of deeper issues related to illness that sometimes, I think we need to actually go and visit and go and do the research. Like I said, I'm no specialist. It's my inquisitive mind and my wife that guides me into a certain way of thinking. One of the big issues with illness is feeling unprotected, and that kickstarts all of things. However, my question is more on the business side. I actually, how is this X-lung marketed at the moment? Because this is the first time I've heard about it, and it makes perfect sense. If you are increasing the oxygen intake into your lungs, you're getting better oxygen flow through your blood, which reaches all of these points of concern, be it whatever the case may be. So for me, it's a no-brainer. If there's an element of or a unit or something that we can use to increase the intake of the quality of air, which is a problem first and foremost, because on a cellular level, our quality of air that we need should be at about, I think it's about 32% of pure oxygen, where we currently, if we're lucky up here, because we're not in the coastal areas, we run at about 12.3%. So already breath I've just taken, that oxygen that goes into my blood does not have the right amount of pure oxygen to actually sustain this body. Hence, we're doing all the other things, eating correctly. My wife and myself have got a strict eating regime and exercise regime. So how is this marketed, number one? And number two, can you give me more insight of how it works or how it's administrated, of what is the process of using X-Lung? We are always saying that if there's something that we can do to better our lives, we need to look at it. So this is really intriguing me to understand what it is. Diets, absolutely agree with you. If we eat healthy, there's a lot of benefits to it. The metabolic protocol that you're on, that's also quite an interesting comment, but I'm quite interested in the X-Lung, if you can just give us a little bit more detail. And that's actually why we're having this discussion with you today.
Absolutely. All right. The X-Lung went through, as I said, it was put through a trial. I worked with the original developer of X-Lung, not in developing it, but at an infant stage. And he had a massive stroke. And the doctor that treated him, and he was using an X-Lung, and we've got the review from the doctor. He said it restored his brain function to 95%.
Wow.
This gentleman passed, he had a good innings and he passed away, and the intellectual property had been sold to another company. And when I was in hospital and I bought an X-Lung, I bought it from the new company, and we have struck up a deal. Indigo have a 5-year exclusive arrangement to market and sell X-Lungs around the world. So Indigo are the driving force behind it. The device works as follows. We do an X-Lung Light, which is a polyphenol food-grade plastic version, and we do an X-Lung Pro. I've got the X-Lung Pro here in my hand.
Okay.
The X-Lung Pro, now you talk about the air being of a bad quality. There's a little filter that goes in there, and you screw this on, and you're ready to go. All right, let's put that on. Okay, you use it as follows. You insert the device into your mouth. So that's it. You do that 20 times a day. I keep mine next to my desk. I keep it in the car. Inhale through the device. Fill your lungs to capacity, remove it from your mouth, hold your breath for 10 seconds, and exhale. That's all you need to do. What happens is, in here is a magnet, a specific Gauss magnet. And when you breathe through the device, the oxygen that travels over that magnet becomes paramagnetic for a short period of time. The magnetism of that molecule remains attached so that the ion sites and your lungs take in more magnetized oxygen than non-magnetized oxygen. It's that simple. You can dumb it down. That's the easiest way to do it. You're ingesting more magnetized oxygen into your body. Your liver starts to function better. Your kidneys start to function better. Your brain functions better. Like you said, if you've got good quality oxygen in your system, you function better. You spoke about the air that we're breathing is full of toxicity and stuff like that. Our bodies are exposed to a massive amount of toxins. And the reason that we've taken on X-Lung so aggressively is that in our product range, we have a specific product which will detox your body on a cellular level. It's a nano-sized liquid particle you spray into your mouth. That product was birthed after the guy that does our formulations, his grandson had an MMR vaccine, and that child became completely autistic. And Rob came up with the formulation. He did it, and he did it extremely well. I use that product in my treatment every day. I'm not autistic, but if you remove toxicity out of your system, you function better. You introduce better oxygen into your body. Everything starts to improve. And in the rest of our range, we have a really good liposomal vitamin C. We have a very strong immune booster. We have a really good milk thistle. And these are products that I'm using on a daily basis. But I think if I am honest with you, X-Lung is the cherry on the cake. Yeah. Because part of that metabolic protocol, I mean, there's a lot of talk that cancer is a parasitic cell kind of that's messing around with your metabolic structure. So that's why they put me on to things like ivermectin, fenbendazole, menbendazole, melatonin. These are all natural products that were utilized during COVID. And they already said, oh no, ivermectin is not a good thing to use. It's now, how popular is it? I mean, I remember when COVID was at its worst, you could buy a box of ivermectin, I think it was 120 Rand. I went down to the pharmacy a little while ago. A month's supply is now 1,000 Rand. And you know what? It's, as I say, I'm not a doctor. I'm not knocking what the doctors are prescribing. When I went to see this doctor in Midrand, I was hesitant. I didn't know anything. It was chemo. Everybody knows about chemo. And I did, in sitting in front of this doctor, I said to him, I'm going to go with what you're doing. Let's follow you. And he said to me, the metabolic protocol will allow your body to have a 10% of the chemo dose and still have an effective result. After that first one, I said, no, I'm not doing it. We're going to go your route. And I've put him on the spot. You can see his body language changed. So I said to him, you've said your product would work, so let's go for it. And it has worked. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there's nothing in me that makes me look sick. I'm not coughing. I'm not wheezing. I'm in no pain. And those were the questions my oncologist asked me when I was sitting in front of him. Said, you're not coughing, not in pain. No, I'm fine. So it's as simple as this. This device will magnetize an oxygen molecule for sure. It's paramagnetic. That's the essence behind it.
Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you for that. I just think there's one other element that's related to the diet that you were talking about, which is an interesting thing. I read an article a little while ago of there's quite a bit of scientific proof going in line with fasting and how fasting actually helps you to overcome elements like cancer and so forth and so forth. Because it's about the body healing itself. If the body is capable of healing itself when it's given the opportunity to heal itself, and that's when you have to detach yourself from all of those negative elements, the bad eating style, the bad health style, because yes, we all have stress, but you can alleviate the stress through a good exercise program, through meditation, through breathing techniques. So I love this because I think every element of what you're talking about is an add-on to a healthy life that you can have where you're already trying, like in my family, where we're trying to have that health-focused lifestyle. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to have a better look at your X-Lung and understand more of it, because if it can benefit me and my family, then it's definitely something we need to look at. So thank you for the.
No problem. You mentioned fasting. I have tried that intermittent fasting. I do a 16-8, but I tell you what, my love for food is, and it makes it very, very difficult. So yeah, the intermittent fasting, it causes cell autophagy when you get into it and you put your body into a state of ketosis. I battle with it because I like food too.
I totally get that. We've actually now gone to a point where we do a 3-day fast from Sunday evening through to Wednesday evening. And that's tough, but the results that we've experienced as far as energy, as far as our health, it's crazy, and it's just eating differently. But I'm taking a lot of the time. Thank you so much for entertaining me, Shane. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Russell.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Russell. Good questions there. So, yeah, Shane, there was one question Russell asked about marketing. How are you marketing this at the moment?
We're doing it on social media. My colleague in the company, Brian Hendricks, he's an IT specialist. So we've got it on Take-A-Lot. We've got it on our website. We have certain distributors that are now coming on board that are wanting to market for us. But essentially, it's me getting in front of people and talking to people. We have had some success into the frail care old age homes. I would like to talk to the asthma associations, the cancer associations, runners, cyclists, anybody that's in sporting. And in fact, Indigo's, we sponsor 6 athletes, 3 professional jockeys. We sponsor a young show jumper, up and coming, an EFC fighter, and a current IBFF Mr. Universe. They all use an X-lung, all of them. Now, Kobus van Niekerk, who's the IBFF Mr. Universe, when he was getting ready for his prep last year, he contracted COVID and he was battling to get through a workout. He had flu and he bought an X-lung. And we'd been chatting right up to the show. And I phoned him on the Monday after the show and I said, how did it go? And he said to me, I won. And in the video that he's done, he actually talks about the X-lung. And he says, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have won. Not just from a training perspective, but from when he's on stage. And I've experienced this. I've been a bodybuilder. I've stood on a national stage. Your posing routine is reliant on your ability to breathe and to control your breathing. And he talks about that quite effectively. Devin Ashby, a young jockey of ours in Cape Town, had a fall. He broke his arm. He hadn't trained for a while. And when he came back to race, he won the first race. And in the testimonial, he says, if it wasn't for this X-lung, I wouldn't be doing the interview today. So, you know what, an EFC fighter that we got, I actually went to a media day and I was watching him training. While he's busy training with his coach stops, reaches into his pocket, pulls out the X-lung and hands it to him. He uses it and off he goes. So, yeah, so we social media, our brand ambassadors and our athletes, Brian, in terms of what he's doing on TikTok, social media, Facebook, Take a Lot, and we're looking at other options as well. But I'm trying to get in touch with people. We also we've done 2 video interviews on Radio High Five Stereo. It's an online radio station. It's the second biggest one in the country. And I've spoken on there. We're doing a day at Turf and Team. We're going to do a full day broadcast at Turf and Team. So that's where we're sitting at the moment in terms of marketing.
Fantastic. There are some questions that have come up in the chat. I'm going to just put them down there. Karen Kruger asks, do you have a website and where can we view and buy the products?
Absolutely. The website is www.indigohealth.co.za.
Fantastic. And I assume that there's a Shopify site on that to buy the actual device.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you said also Take a Lot as well.
Yes, on Take a Lot as well. The other thing that I want to just make David, the one thing I want to make mention of, when you buy an X-lung, people say to me, how long will it last? It'll last 20 years. There's no battery charging. There's no additives that need to go into it. The only time you buy another one is if you lose this one or you break it.
That's excellent. So what is the cost of this device?
This one here, the X-lung Pro, is 2,400 Rand. That's it there. The X-lung Lite is 1,200 Rand.
And the difference you said was one's made out of plastic, the other one's stainless steel. Is that
this one's made out of stainless steel? The other one's made out of polyphenol food grade plastic. The X-lung Lite doesn't have a filter in it. This one does. Some people prefer the filter. I do because it offers my lungs far more resistance. It's harder to breathe. But the X-lung Lite is a very popular seller, especially for those that have a limited budget and they would like the same benefit but at a more cost-effective price.
Just for Karen, can you explain how it works again with magnetization?
Yeah, Karen, of course. What happens is the device goes into your mouth. You take a deep breath in, fill your lungs to capacity, remove it from your mouth and hold your breath for 10 seconds and exhale. And in here is a specific Gauss magnet. And when you breathe through the device, the oxygen that passes over this magnet becomes paramagnetic for a short period of time. And the bonding sites in your lungs take in more magnetized oxygen than non-magnetized. All of this information is available from us at any time. You can request it. We took a dissertation that Dr. Craig Roberts wrote, which was 275 pages. We condensed it down into a 32-page color document, which I'm more than happy to supply anybody. And if anybody says to me, let's see your PET scans, prove it, I will make any of the information I've discussed here is available.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Shane, how can people get hold of you other than on your website? Can they phone you directly? Or?
Yeah, of course. I'm available on 082 380 8364. And if you'd like to drop an email, you can email Brian. He's at info@indigosupplements.co.za.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, it's been a really great pleasure having you here today, Shane. And I must say, it's something that I think I need. I need an X-lung. I've actually been ill for the last 2 days, so I'm sure that can help me. And
you know what I mean? If you've got a lung-related issue, it's going to work. And the reviews that we've got, the testimonials that we've got, are all available at any time.
While David is coughing, I need that. I just want to ask you: can kids use this as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And you can use it. There's no using it too much. I mean, if I go down to the Vaal race course on a Thursday, or if I go to Randkiesfontein or Pretoria, I use it in the car all the time. I mean, it's constantly with me.
Excellent.
Yeah,
And maybe another question, David, quickly. Do you have a affiliated marketing program concerning this?
I'm looking to the left here to chat to Brian. Or can we do something like that?
We're open to keep talking to people.
Yeah. My expert here says we are open to doing that.
Okay. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Shane, it's been a pleasure having you here. So I'd really like to thank you. And Wilhelm for coming on, and Russell for asking those really good questions. So I'd just like to ask one takeaway from Wilhelm and one takeaway from Russell. And Wilhelm, what's your biggest takeaway from today?
Well, I think if I can put it in one word, it's hope, because there's lots of people that need something like this. And I think, after COVID, I find myself, I'm quite healthy and so on and so on, but it is as if there's something wrong, often during the day, sometimes I just feel this cough thing or whatever, or my lungs or whatever. And I think, I don't know if it's in the mind, but it is as if the air is not clear anymore. Yes, we actually know that. But I think something like that can help. Doctors prescribe some other funny medicine and things, and it usually is not working so well, or maybe not. But this thing, I'm so excited about this. And after cough, I know of a few people, especially one, my brother-in-law, he also got the same problem. He got the same diagnosis just a few weeks back, that he got cancer and he's serious. So I really want to talk to you, Shane. It's
of course
very, very important. So I got your number. I'm going to send you a WhatsApp.
Okay.
We need something for me at least as quick as possible.
All right.
Fantastic. And Russell, from your point of view?
Shane, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. I'm always looking to see what the flame is behind this smoke. And being like that, I'm actually quite adamant about I'm totally against pharma. My wife and myself don't even drink a Disprin. If we've got a headache, we drink water. We're always looking for alternatives. And listening to you today, it just reinforces my conspiracy theorist mentality, because there is a lot of alternative opportunities to keep yourself healthy, to become healthy, than to go the pharma route. As far as I'm concerned, pharma is a business, and a very profitable business, but it's at the expense. Why I'm like that, I was diagnosed with diabetes 2 about 7 years ago, and fell into a lot of pain. And when my ex-wife went to the doctor and asked for pain remedy for me, he said he can't give me pain. He first has to see what the medication is going to do to my kidneys and other organs. This made me go and seek alternative, and I stopped using all pharma. And today I'm proud to say with the help of my wife and the therapy that I went through, that I'm no longer diabetic in any form, in any way. So it can be beaten. Dr. Michael Moore was one of my brand ambassadors for a non-profit I owned. And he just said, you can't beat diabetes, but you can manage it through diet, lifestyle, and exercise. I've beaten it. And I've beaten it because there is ways to heal yourself if you believe in it and you go and look for it. So my takeaway is, I'm thankful to have heard about your product. I will do the research. We will definitely acquire one in our family. But it's something that we can also mention to other people and say, guys, don't go that route. Try this. So thank you for that, and thank you for your story.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
See, there's another question here.
Yeah.
From Sally Khan. Absolutely. Yes, it would. It's going to benefit. I'm not a doctor, and I can't stress that enough. And anybody that I talk to, I spoke to a guy in Cape Town yesterday. His dad's been diagnosed with lung cancer. And I will tell them, this is what I've done. This is what I've been advised to do. And the guy that put me on this metabolic protocol is a medical doctor. He's not some quack. And I will say to people, speak to him. I'll give them his details, have a chat from a medical perspective. You're in good hands. In fact, I saw a doctor in Potch. I went up, he was buying some of our products, and I was telling him my story. And I told him who the doctor is that I'm seeing in Midrand. And he said to me, whatever you've got, this doctor can undo. So when you hear that from another medical professional, you feel like you're in good hands. But that metabolic protocol with a good diet, the products that we've got, and Russell, like you say, it's a mindset. It's up here. You've got to be strong. And I just, at the outset, I thought, I'm not going to let this beat me. I've got too much to do. My road is still a long road. But if anybody wants to phone and ask for anything, please feel free.
Fantastic, Shane. Thanks very much. There's a number of comments in the chat. I'm going to ask you to independently to actually go through those and just answer each one of those, Shane. There's a few questions, etc. And then some of them have asked for they have asked for that 32-pager. So if you could also share that, that'd be great. So I'd like to just thank you again for being here. We are close to the end of our show. Next week, we've got Robert Werter, who's a diplomat. He will be coming to talk to us about diplomacy and business. I'm looking for that. It'll be really interesting. That's through our business acumen session. And Shane, you're most welcome to join us to listen in and invite other people to come in and listen to our show. On the first Thursday of the month, we have a networking group, and that's basically we do it on Zoom. And it's a bit of a different type of networking group. We actually share challenges in business, and then we get people to comment and to help the other people who have those challenges. And it's actually a very dynamic group. So you're most welcome to join that too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. So this will be, what we'll be doing is we'll be putting a newsletter together that we will post tomorrow. And then this video here will be available on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn going forward. So as long as you've got the link, you can also share that with people. So it's nice advertising for yourself and your product. So thank you very much, everyone. It's been a pleasure having you here, and I'm going to end the show. Just stay on, and I'll just end the show here, and then just stay on.
My name is Shane Cass. In 2023, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in my lungs, colon, liver, and pelvis. It was devastating. But instead of giving up, I decided to take ownership of my health and explore an integrative approach. I adopted a strict nutritional plan combined with natural wellness strategies. One tool that became part of my daily routine was a device called X-Lung. It's designed to support lung function and oxygen intake. Since using it consistently, I noticed improvements in my breathing and energy. In November 2024, my scans showed encouraging signs, something I'm deeply grateful for. I'm not a doctor, I'm not offering medical advice. I'm just sharing my story, what I experienced, what helped me stay active, and what gave me hope. And if my journey encourages even one person facing a similar battle, then this is worth sharing. Join me on Vision 2025 this Thursday as I share more about my experience. Because sometimes resilience begins with the smallest breath forward.